table and everything.
I'll start.
Shirley Walker King with Real Talk Sports. Coach Carlisle, it's over as far as with at least getting the celebration of Dirk's career out. How does it make you feel as a coach seeing this process? I know we have one more game tomorrow, but this was bringing it home for Dirk and for you as well. It's just like closing out the season for the two of you.
Yeah, this hasn't hit me yet that this is a final thing. It will in time. I believe this is a situation where you have a man who has all these human qualities. He's, he's humble, he's kind, he's great, he's a competitor. He's been a guy that's been too easy to take for granted, and so it will never be the same without him. It just won't. I know that from experience. When Reggie Miller left Indiana, we had 2 down years immediately afterward. We had some talented guys. It's you remove a guy like this, and it's going to change the landscape. And so the example that he set has been major. It's been phenomenal. It's been a tone setter for our city, for our local culture. Guys like Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr., Justin Jackson, have gotten to spend a few months with Dirk and see what this kind of greatness is all about, and there's great value in that. And as Dirk said out on the court, he's going to be here. He's going to be involved in some way, shape, or form. And so we will miss Dirk the player very, very much, but he will add an awful lot here for years and decades to come.
Rick, a couple things. One, real quick, do you plan on Dirk playing tomorrow in San Antonio?
Unless I hear different.
Okay, and what did you think of the way things unfolded for Dirk in terms of basketball? Getting all the buckets early, season high in scoring, and just the way that the game played out for him.
Well, the guys got together, and they obviously made a pact. They were going to get him as many shots as possible. I think he scored the first 10 points of the game, which is pretty much what happened in Golden State 2.5 weeks ago. And then from there, things got a little wanky. I mean, there was you get a night like this, and you get the energy in the building, and you get guys that want to see him, have one of those nights, which he did. He scored 30 points, which is freaking amazing. And the game gets a little ragtag, and before you know it, a 30-point lead turns into 5. But look, it's the NBA. Got to play for 48. Luka hit a couple big shots, and we were able to close the game, which was great.
Tim Cato, The Athletic. Rick, I guess I'm just wondering how much you knew. I think a lot of the season, a lot of us assumed this would be the last year. He hinted at it back and forth. Did you know going into tonight in your heart, or had he told you that this was it?
Well, when you're around someone for over a decade and you see them day to day, there comes a point when you know that Dirk has given every last ounce that he can possibly give to this game. And the whole notion of coming back next year is just, if people knew what he went through just simply to get on the floor this year, I mean, people wouldn't believe it. There's a guy named Cody that is bald with weird hair that goes halfway down his back that comes in 3 times a week with needles this long and sticks them all through Dirk's body, into bones and everything else. And I heard more groaning and screaming, and then he would leave and Dirk said, I feel really good now. I mean, the stuff that he went through to get on the floor should be unbelievable motivation for all of us to get out of bed earlier every day and make more of our lives. I mean, that's what I get from watching him for 11 years.
Byron Moulton here with Mo Sports Talk. A couple of questions for you, Carlisle, right here.
Yes.
First, with your tenure here with the Mavs and coaching Dirk for 11 years, do you feel like this has to be the best player that you've ever coached in your coaching career?
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, with the longevity, the championship, you know, everything, the 14 All-Star appearances, league MVP, finals MVP. I had some great ones. I mean, Reggie Miller was phenomenal. Ben Wallace was a great player. Chauncey Billups was a great player. Jermaine O'Neal had a hell of a career. There were many others. Jason Kidd, you know, was enshrined in the Hall of Fame this year. You know, and look, the guys in our championship team, I saw Brian Cardinal up there in the stands, and he should have been down there too, because he helped us win Game 6, you know, of the finals. And so there'd be no way to name, you know, how all these different guys have impacted me. But Dirk is truly special, one of a kind. You know, the only guy that comes close with the loyalty aspect of it, you know, for me, of guys I've coached, is Reggie Miller, because he was with one franchise for 18 years, and Dirk was here for 21. But look, you're not going to see this ever again. I'm pretty confident of that. I mean, the world has changed. The game has changed. You know, we're all in an adaptive mode. It's become fashionable to jump around in free agency. You talk to Larry Bird and Isaiah Thomas from Detroit and Magic Johnson. I mean, those guys would never have dreamed of doing those kinds of things. But it's changed. Things have changed, and so the players have earned the right to do what they want, and they're approaching their careers differently. And it's just it's interesting, but it's different. But Dirk he's a throwback. You know, he's clearly a guy that's, you know, not cut from normal cloth.
Coach.
Yes, Brad, go ahead.
Is there any part of you that dreaded tonight, or did you kind of go into it, as you said, this guy's given every ounce to basketball, and this is a celebration?
Yeah, I wanted us to win the game and for Dirk to have an impactful game, and those things happen. And you know, you saw the respect that his teammates gave him just by looking for him every single time down the court. I mean, it was amazing to watch that level of respect. And I mean what I said on the court about, you know, the fact that Dirk was even able to get on the floor this year and compete. And ever since he got on the floor at the game at Phoenix in mid-December, he's been getting this level of love and respect and admiration for his career from every fan base that we've hit. And places we've hit twice, they've come back louder the second time. And that's been one of the most gratifying things to me. You know, Dirk was a guy that really slugged it out to earn his respect. You know, there were a lot of people early in the middle part of his career talking about things he couldn't do. And they're not saying that anymore. They're talking about him as one of the top tier all-time greats, and they should.
Let's take a couple more.
Coach, Tim and Dallas Sports Fanatic. You talked about what Dirk has done for you personally and what he's meant for the team and the game. But what's the number one thing that you have learned from him in 11 years?
You know, the importance of persistence. I mean, that's got to be the number one thing. I mean, with all the challenges Dirk has had to stand on the floor in the last 6 years, you know, he's met every challenge with flying colors, and you know, and it's not been easy, and it's painful to work through difficult rehabs. It's painful, and you know, he had an Achilles 2 years ago, then he had this year, and then in 12-13 he had the knee scope, you know, and he missed 27 games, and we really struggled. And when he came back, you know, we were 10 under 500, and we got it back to even by the end of the year. And so, you know, look, I really have such great love and respect for him. I want him to be able to play with his kids in the backyard and do those kinds of things. You know, I've seen too many athletes that have overdone it and ended up, you know, not being able to do those kinds of things. And you know, Dirk's taking great care of himself, and I think he'll be fine. But to go much further, you know, would be very difficult. I mean, I think, just personally.
Last one.
Coach Mike Leslie, WFA. The moment after the game, the moments after the game, you guys have legends out there on the floor saying their piece to Dirk. Your daughter going out and hugging Dirk. your emotions in that moment as you just kind of watch that all unfold?
I was so happy for Dirk. Look, the only thing he's ever cared about is bringing this fan base success and helping these fans experience success and ultimate success. Look, this wasn't a winning season, but it was triumphant in many ways because of the respect and all the attention Dirk got for 21 years being with the same franchise. But I'll be honest, it hasn't hit me yet. It hasn't hit me yet. I mean, when it does, I'll be in tears like a lot of these other people, a lot of people in the stands, and it'll be difficult. Thank you very much.